The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Welcome to Film Connection. Today is August 28th, 2025. I'm Priscilla Almquist-Olson, co-host of Film Connection, and our dear friend and co-anchor, Bill Ames, is on vacation in lovely Vermont. But today, I think that Ed Hands, the past historian, or no, the current historian for the town of Easton, but the past chairman of the history department of Oliver Ames for centuries, and our film aficionado has agreed to talk about Friday night at the movies. Some of you who are viewing this might not know about Friday night at the movies, and that's why we're presenting a program so that you will know. It's a real treat. Welcome, Ed.
Hi, how you doing? Glad to be here today.
Yeah, thank you. I'm so glad you decided to come on. Tell us a little bit about the history of Friday night at the Queeset House.
Well, way back when Bill and Craig Whitford and Bill Little and myself decided to come up with something called the Hockomock Film Festival. And that included a film festival where people made films for a competition, and we had the showing of regular films. It's just a way to, build up some interest in things. And both projects have taken on a life of their own. ECAT now does the film festival part, and the library takes care of maintaining the film club.
Mm-hmm. And so the library has allocated the Queeset House for many years.
Yes, and not only have they allocated the Queeset House, but they've consistently upgraded the equipment so that if you go and watch our films, it's almost as good as watching them in a small theater. The way I like to think about it is, if you've watched the old Hollywood films where the director has a projection room where he can invite all his friends in to watch it. That's what we do at the room over there.
Yeah.
So.
So how often are these films shown?
Well, we do 20 films a year. Sometimes it's hard to get all 20 in, but we do it every 2 weeks, starting September 5th, which is actually next Friday, and running through June 19th.
Right. So it's a whole year, or a whole academic year, shall we say, of movies.
Yes.
Yeah. And who gets to choose these movies?
It's a much more complicated process than you might think. Now that we're big time at the library, we also have to be legal. For many, many years, when we were floating around to different venues in town, we just showed whatever film we wanted to show. That's illegal. And we got caught once. Disney caught us. Not Walt, but the company. And with the library, they have a wonderful system where they pay for a license to show films. And about 70% of the films that come out during the course of the year are licensed to show for libraries, or there's different licenses for nonprofits. There's different licenses for summer camps, believe it or not. And so the very first step is to ask the members of the club, and everybody's a member. You don't have to, you don't get a membership card if you come to a movie. Just come. But we call them members, and they make recommendations. Then I check the recommendations to see the ones that are licensed and throw the ones out that aren't licensed. Then the next step is to look at both Internet Movie Database for their ratings, and look at Rotten Tomatoes for their ratings, and we usually pick the highest rated films. This year, the people made really excellent recommendations. So of all the years, and we've been doing this now for almost 20 years, um, this year the recommendations are all outstanding films. The Internet Movie Database rates films from 1 to 10, and the lowest rated film that we have is a 7.5.
Wow.
And that was somebody's recommendations.
My goodness.
Yeah. So we have a lot of 8s, and the one problem with 8s is the directors get delusions of grandeur. So instead of doing a 2-hour film, they do a 2.5-hour film.
Oh.
So we're going to be talking about maybe changing our start time so that we don't run too deeply into the night.
Okay, so what is the start time?
The start time right now is 7 o'clock. So our first film next week is a 2-hour film called Almost Famous. And so we'll start that at 7. The doors open at Queesit technically at 6:30. And most people that come have been going for many, many years. So they're all friends. And that's an opportunity to chat for a while. Almost like a cocktail hour. Except instead of having cocktails, we have baked goods provided.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And Susan is it
Barbara.
Barbara.
Yep.
Barbara is the one who bakes every time, and they're just delicious. I mean, I'm sure some people come for the food.
Yeah, that's what I do. I could watch these films at home,
Right. But what's interesting is, because I used to go, I've got to get back going, but I used to go very religiously every other Friday with my late and significant other, Warren Nyland.
Yep.
And we enjoyed it. And what was interesting was that you would introduce the movie, so people would get a little bit of the background, how it came into being, and who the director was, and who maybe the screenwriter, and the theme.
Yep. And then we would discuss the film after it was over as well.
Yes, that's just what I was going to say, Ed.
Yep.
Yes, and then afterwards we were and that was the best part.
Now you wouldn't do that if it was like Timothy Chalamet sitting here. Oh, well, I was just about to say that. Ed. Well, we are going to have a film with Timothy Chalamet.
I don't mind if you steal my lines, Ed.
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
a lot of famous filmmakers and actors have stolen lines, right?
Yes.
From other people. And so anyway, it's every other Friday, and so it's on the 5th, and then...
No, this year we have somebody who's more organized than I am. So it was Jessica, the assistant director at the library, and she said, I looked at the calendar, why don't you just do it on the 1st and 3rd Fridays of every month?
Oh, that's a good idea.
And that's what we're doing this year.
Great. 1st and 3rd Fridays. So come at 6:30, do munch and drink, and then see the film at 7.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about how you got interested in film.
I got interested in film back when I was a little boy in Braintree. And if I walked through the backwoods, I could get to a movie theater. And the movie matinees on Saturday were 25 cents.
Oh, that happened here in Easton too.
Yes. But they actually made sure we paid the 25 cents here. I hear stories about the movie theater in Easton where you could sneak up the back stairs and get in for free. But we had a real movie theater that was built, must have been back in the 1920s. And
when they showed silent movies.
When they showed silent movies, yeah. Yeah. And it was, it wasn't a palace, it wasn't Radio City Music Hall or anything, but, it was kind of decorated, and it was great for the kids. And we filled the place up every Saturday, and would either have a double feature with a newsreel in the middle of it or a big long film. I remember I saw the 10 Commandments there. And I actually saw the signs for one of the films we're going to be showing this year.
Oh.
It's a film from 1955 called Night of the Hunter with Robert Mitchum.
Oh.
And I said, well, there's this film coming. And my parents said, nope, you're not going to see that one. And Now that I'm showing it now, I can understand why they wouldn't let me go. It was kind of a scary murder movie. So,
No, that's the reason.
so I had to stick with Tarzan and those.
Well, here in Easton, it was up on the second floor of where Pyrie's hardware store was on the first floor. And Kevin McIntyre's law firm shared part of that second floor. But the ticket booth is still there.
Yeah.
The ticket booth is still there. And I remember coming up with my quarter, but only after I had finished cleaning the house. Saturday, I had to get up early so I could clean the house and get to the movie theater. And we had two main films, and then the newsreel. Well, this was 50s, and what was happening. You had what's his face? Help me out.
President Eisenhower?
Yes, no, that one I remember, but McCarthy.
Oh.
And the McCarthy hearings and all of that, hunting for communists, and especially in the film industry, when you think about how many filmmakers and actors were blackmailed from participating and the studios went along with it, and and didn't put
As
them.
they're still doing these days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very political.
The opinions stated here are our own, and don't work ECAT or the library. So.
Yeah, and so I paid a quarter too. It was a quarter.
Yeah.
And but then we also had comics. We had
Yeah, sure.
cartoons. Yeah, so it was cartoons, newsreels, two feature movies.
I saw a film when I was a little boy that you can't see anymore.
What was that?
It was a Disney film, believe it or not.
Really?
Can you imagine what one it is? They've pulled it and haven't shown it in years and years and years. It's the Song of the South, which is their Joel Chandler Harris folktales, and they're basically slavery wasn't that bad. Maybe they'll make a comeback these days. Now that we're changing history around,
Yeah,
but
no.
it was wonderful with Brer Rabbit and all these wonderful folk characters. But
Yeah.
the sad part was slavery wasn't that bad.
Right. Well, that's that we know isn't true. So
That's where Zippity Doo-Dah came from. That
yeah.
song.
Well, that's totally morally and politically incorrect.
Yeah.
So
But that doesn't matter anymore, didn't you? Haven't you got the message from
No.
that? Oh, okay.
I haven't. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, they're changing the Smithsonian, for crying out loud. That must mean that, there were no black people or Native Americans here, or
And Lisa Cook Trump just decided to fire her from the Federal Reserve.
Yes.
Of course, she's not resigning, and he has no
there's going to
authority.
be a lawsuit. Yeah, I know.
But anyway, getting back to the film, the first one you're going to show, it's called Almost Famous.
Almost.
And what does that bring to mind?
Well,
And how does that relate?
this is one that was recommended by somebody in the club, so I had to look it up because I've never seen it. And it's the story. It's actually it's autobiographical. The director of the film was originally a writer for Rolling Stone, and he got a job sort of as an intern when he was 15, and the very next thing he knew, he was on tour with one of the big bands of the early 70s. So this is the fictionalized version of him as a 15-year-old on tour with a rock band, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And
what year was it?
early 70s. So, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a little pre-sex rock and roll, because that was really the 80s, wasn't it?
Oh, you missed out the Rolling Stones and all of those people.
Oh, yes, of course. Sorry.
Yeah. So
those are our contemporaries.
yes. You did some of that stuff, right? At least the rock and roll.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the 70s. Actually, the late 60s.
Yeah.
I remember when my former husband was getting his doctorate in Michigan, he was always in the lab. So I said, I'll meet you at the Lizard at 11 p.m. And we rock and rolled and danced to a live band until 2 in the morning. And then, I'd get up at 6 and head for my teaching job at 7:30. And yeah, it was, and I had all that energy. We had that energy back then. We could do all that.
I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning yesterday with a fly fishing app on my iPad. It's a little bit less strenuous, but we're lucky here in Easton that we have the summer concert series, which just got over and gives everybody a chance to relive the good old days.
And you are one of our biggest fans.
I didn't miss a one this year. I'm very proud of myself.
Yes, we were happy to see that.
Yep.
As a board member on the Shoveltown Cultural District, I'm very proud of that series, and it's this is our 3rd year, and we had. In the beginning, we had maybe 150 people. Now we get 400. So the word is out. And hopefully the word will get out for Friday night movies at the Queeset House.
That's true. That's true. We can't accommodate 400 people, so please don't come.
But it's free, just like the concerts.
Yes, it is. It's free, and we provide a chair, and you can sit down.
And you can listen to Ed discuss the theme of the movie and et cetera, and you can share your own opinions.
So let's talk about some of the films.
Let's do that. How about There Will Be Blood? That's happening on the 19th of September.
19th of September, and...
I bet your parents wouldn't let you see that one.
No. In fact, my parents might not let me see it this time either. Yeah, it's really funny. I was looking at the list today, and we alternate between very, very, very dark dramas this year and a lot of comedy. People have asked over the last couple of years, can we come up with some more comedy? And I'm not a big fan of comedy, so I was happy that folks gave me a bunch of ideas to try out. So we've got some very dark dramas. We've got some not quite so dark stuff, and then we have a lot of funny things. Mm-hmm. So
what about this?
There Will Be Blood is Daniel Day-Lewis, his next to the last film. I think he did that before that awful film Phantom Thread, which we showed, and it was one of those films that I would have walked out on if I wasn't showing the film. But this one has a good reputation. He's a person who strikes it rich in the oil business back in the early days. And I would have liked to have shown the one about the flower moon with Leonardo in it, but that runs over 3 hours. So
oh my gosh!
Yeah, we're not going to show that one.
Yes.
This one runs.
You
2.5
could show it
hours.
in segments.
Yeah, that doesn't work.
Doesn't work.
No.
Okay.
No, there's a lot. I'd like to show Schindler's List just to remind some people what that was all about.
Yeah.
But that's also too long. So it's a very dark film, and one of the things that Internet Movie Database is doing now is they're taking all the reviews that people write, and then they're having artificial intelligence read them and come up with a summary review. And they say, yeah, this is really dark. And that's the only one of our dark films that it says, it's really a downer. So good, I love those films.
Well, that's a great ad.
Yeah. So the one after that is one of our newer films. That came out in 2024, and that's A Complete Unknown with Timothée Chalamet as Bob Dylan.
Right.
And that's actually one of our lower rated films of the year. That's rated at 7.5. And one of the problems with our dramas is if there's any criticism of any of them, it's like, I could have done it in 2 hours instead of 2.5. Mm-hmm. But this is the story of Bob Dylan. Dear old Bob doesn't come off all that well. Mm-hmm. The music is good, of course, but Bob wasn't a nice guy. May still not be a nice guy, and that's the way Timothée Chalamet plays it.
Oh, I'm disappointed. I'll have to see the movie.
Yeah, Joan Baez comes out much better, completely undeserved. When I was a teacher, I had some interaction with Ms. Baez.
You did?
Yes. Yeah, she was a defendant of a defender of one of the students at my school, not my student, thank God, who gave a real hard time to one of our older teachers. And without knowing anything at all about the thing, Miss Liberal just jumped right in and said, "Oh, it's those people are terrible," and she didn't know anything about it, complete ignorance. And then and then the student's lawyer became Alan Dershowitz. So we know how Alan's worked out over the years. The Epstein tapes, release the Epstein tapes. So.
He's Alan Dershowitz. I mean, for those of you who don't know in the audience, that's a former professor of law at Harvard Law School. And he was very well respected and esteemed.
He was a big hero of mine. He used to do a show.
Mine too.
Yeah.
I know. And what happened to him? Senility?
No, he got money.
Got money. Oh,
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it.
Yeah. He dropped this poor student who couldn't afford a good lawyer. He jumped on it because it's a famous case. Oh, I'm going to jump on this. It's all about the flag, and liberals would like me for, And
yeah, that's right.
As soon as the Klaus van Bülow case came along, he dropped the girl and went to Klaus van Bülow. Klaus killed his wife, but
Right.
Alan got him off.
Right, but Alan got him off, right? And everybody knows that he did the deed.
Yes.
But anyway, so here's Alan Dershowitz. He's a professor, but at the same time, he takes clients and defends them.
Yes. And
So.
flew on Jeffrey Epstein's plane many times.
Yes, right. So
I'm sure it was just a way to save money. Okay, so the next film is actually 10 years old. It's called Her, but it was at that time a science fiction film about a guy who falls in love with the voice on the other end of his phone, which is a computer.
Oh.
It's one of the very first, whatever you call Siri or that. But it's, with artificial intelligence and all of that sort of stuff, somebody in our group said, hey, this might be a fun one to see. And it's lighthearted, but it does talk about, it's sort of a romantic comedy. It talks about relationships, maybe inappropriate relationships.
So, although 10 years ago it might not have been the trend, it certainly is today.
Yeah,
Because all we do is talk about AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to say AI didn't help me at all with this. I've been using it lately.
Chatbot, do you use that?
No, I use Perplexity and Gemini.
Oh, I think you have to pay for those.
Yes.
Yes.
Chatbot I don't like because it didn't
I do because it's free.
Yeah, but it didn't have a lot of security. So
Oh.
anyways, and it also gave wrong answers. I tried it out. It was wrong about Easton's history. I said, I'll try it out on something I know a little bit about. And it gave me wrong answers. And then I said, okay, I think that might be a wrong answer. Give me your source. And they couldn't do that. Oh, well, yeah, you're right. Maybe there's no source for that. But in the end, AI triumphed because they did find the link that I was looking for. But it took them 2 years. It just shows you how quick this stuff is changing. And I just read this past weekend, and this is important for filmmakers too, that AI-generated pictures passed the Turing test. You could ask it to do a Rembrandt, and an average person would not be able to tell the difference between AI-generated Rembrandts and ones the guy did himself. So, and I did a couple that way. I have some really nice fake Rembrandts. So, but
Interesting.
it uses a ton of electricity and computing space, but you could actually turn those AI-generated pictures into animations. And that's what people are concerned about related to this. It's been done already. Actually, the very next film that we're looking at here is Top Hat with Fred Astaire. And you may remember maybe 10 years ago, there were some advertisements after Fred had died that featured him dancing.
Yes.
And at that time, what they were doing was they were kind of erasing out the background and putting in new background, and he just danced his dance. But now they could recreate Fred Astaire. and you wouldn't know it wasn't him.
Okay.
So the question is, who gets the money? Is it the estate of Fred Astaire, or after you die, do you lose your patent rights? I don't know. The next film we're going to look at is Top Hat,
Right.
which, along with Swing Time and Gay Divorcee, are the absolute best of Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers movies. They did, I think it's 6 movies together, and the ones from the early 30s are the best. And Top Hat has not only Ginger Rogers, who did everything Fred Astaire did backwards and in high heels, and it also has Edward Everett Horton and Michael Blore as the comic relief. They're hilarious. This is the one where they end up in Venice, and it's an Art Deco version of Venice. So it's a classic. Somebody asked for a Fred Astaire film, so we put that one in. They wanted Swing Time, but we've shown Swing Time. One of the problems about running a film club for 20 years is that you've shown pretty much everything. We never have shown Top Hat, but we've done Swing Time a couple of times. I didn't want to do it again.
Okay, and now we skip to a more modern time with the next one.
Yeah, 1992. I didn't realize it was that far back in
really?
time. Yeah, Al Pacino. Al Pacino was still young-ish, and it's Scent of a Woman, where he plays an elderly, or not elderly, but older, retired military man who has gone blind, and he wants to go on one more fling, and he's not a nice person. So he enlists the aid of a young person to make sure he doesn't run into walls and stuff being blind. And it's the story of their back and forth. So it's another relationship kind of a thing. Very well received, one of his best films, and a little bit different from what he normally does. It's not a New York prosecutor or a New York criminal. It's not a likable person, but it's a little bit different. We also, my favorite Pacino film is Looking for Richard. And it's hilarious that Pacino loves Shakespeare.
Really?
Yes. And he actually filmed The Merchant of Venice, which is an interesting film. Shakespeare does not do well with the film club. Shakespeare, Japanese films, and Chinese films do not do well with the film club. There's an objection to reading, but in Italian films and French films, there may be reading, but all the guys are waiting to make sure that women don't take their clothes off. So you can tell them I said that. Although our worst film ever was an Italian film. So.
Did you know it was a bad movie?
No, it's one of these movies that is so highly regarded by film critics, and it is just awful. It's a terrible film.
Well, my son's movie for Netflix that came out 2019, Rotten Tomatoes gave it a rotten review. I mean, it was awful, but the public loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a raving hit with moviegoers, and to this day, people say it's the best movie I've ever seen. And it's about the Motley Crue in the rock and roll 80s. Did you see it?
Yeah, I got through the first 10 minutes, and after that, it was.
I know. You know what I did? Eric never told me about the first 10 minutes. Well, actually, it's the first 5 minutes, and a lot of nudity and sex and so forth, and yeah, so right up your alley. So I was so proud of him because he had struggled for 22 years in Hollywood to be successful, and here he produced a movie on Netflix. Took him 10 years, but here he was. So I told everybody in church to watch it, and then. So I'm out there at the red carpet premiere, and Eric says, "Hey, Mom, you want to see the first 5 minutes of the movie?" And I said, "Sure," never thinking, why just the first 5 minutes? But we were going to see the full movie the next night. So I said, "Okay." Oh, my God. I said, "Eric, why didn't you tell me? I told everybody in church to watch it." And he started laughing, and so did I. But, yeah. But he said, "Mom, you have to set the tone. You've got to be authentic. you got to be honest to an extent where it's at least not too distasteful.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So in reality, it was the reality was even more distasteful. That's scary. Ooh.
And only one person objected to it as porn, and somebody that you and I both know. But anyway.
So we had a situation like that once at the film club.
Really?
I was showing this wonderful French movie. We all loved it, called Amélie, and it's about this girl, and she wants everybody to be happy and blah blah blah. So I invited my film class to come and see it, and the high school kids, and they're high school kids, and like certain other people I know, they were late, and they walked in where Amélie had been incredibly successful in making everybody in Paris happy. They were all having orgasms. So they went, ooh and ah, and my kids walked in and they didn't know what to do, and they never came back. So we don't have an age limit on film club, but mostly it's been adults.
Yeah.
So.
And also a lot of retired people.
Yes. That's not a good demographic. We're looking for the 25 to 45 demographic. So.
We are, okay. Yeah.
So
these movies would certainly interest them.
You got to be a movie buff, I think.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we have after all these years. We've sorted out a lot of people.
Now, the next movie, which is coming on December 5th, that Vertigo.
That's a classic. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah,
what year was that made?
Early 60s, 1961, I think it is.
Yeah.
And it's Jimmy Stewart and Kim Novak, who I was struck this morning as I was going through the Internet Movie Database. She looks so much like Brigitte Bardot, I mean, to me anyway.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. The request from the member was, let's do an Alfred Hitchcock film. We haven't done one in a while, and they wanted to do Rear Window, and I don't do Rear Window for two reasons. The villain is Raymond Burr, and I can't get Perry Mason out of my head. And second of all, he bumps off the family dog, and I don't like that.
Oh no.
Yeah. So.
No.
So we're showing Vertigo instead, which I can also appreciate because I do have vertigo. My mom passed that on to me somehow. So don't ask me to cross railroad tracks and things like that.
Yeah, and so Airplane, I'm not familiar with that one.
Oh, that's a classic comedy. Shirley, you know about that, and you're supposed to respond by, don't call me Shirley. That's what it is. It's all puns and one-liners, and it has a lot of people that are known for doing straight stuff, like Leslie Nielsen and a couple of the other guys that you're used to from 1950s, you know, cop shows and stuff like that, and they're all playing it for laughs. And what it is a spoof of disaster movies. You remember the early 70s when there was the Poseidon Adventure, and there was this and there was that. So this is the spoof, and everybody wants it. We've all seen it. Everybody, it's hilarious. So we're putting it on right before Christmas, just to have something to laugh about.
Yeah. And Being John Malkovich.
Yeah.
I saw that.
I haven't seen that one. You tell me a little bit about it. Then.
Oh, I can't remember, but it's
very odd.
Yes.
There's this guy who wants to be a puppeteer, and he's not very successful, and takes a job in an office, and he opens a door in the office, and he's inside John Malkovich's head. And it goes on from there. It's supposedly a comedy-ish.
Yeah.
So, I'm taking a chance on my members for that one. So.
Because somebody recommended it.
Somebody recommended that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the ones that I chose. Top Hat's one, and then we're going to get to the others in a minute. So both incredibly creepy.
Is Das Boot? Is that German?
Yes, it's about the shoe industry in West Germany.
Oh.
No. No. You know German. And
Jawohl.
Das Boot means the boat.
Yes.
And it's a story about a German submarine. And it was incredibly highly rated when it first came out in the 80s. And it was actually, they did a director's cut 20 years later. We're going to see the original version. It's a little bit shorter. And it's the only film that we're showing this year that has, well, extensive subtitles because they're German.
Oh, yeah. So,
So,
the whole thing is in German.
yes. And you get the real feeling about what it was like to be in one of those submarines back then, and it wasn't a good thing.
No.
But the whole point was, hey, they're going to look like heroes by the end, and they're the bad guys. But I'm looking forward. I haven't seen that in a long time, so I'm looking forward to that.
And then we have Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah, Pan's Labyrinth. We showed that film many years ago. The film club has wandered the town of Easton. So initially we were at Julie Andrews's bakery, which is no longer in business.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when that faded away, we moved over to sheep pasture. And
I have been at both locations.
yes. And then we were for a very short time at the hall. And the reason that the hall has soundproof curtains is we did a year at the hall, and we showed an Irish movie, and nobody could understand the accents because the reverberation off the walls was so bad.
You're talking about the Oaks Ames Memorial Hall.
Ames Hall, yeah.
And so you contributed to those curtains.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we bought them for them. So
Great.
But Pan's Labyrinth, when we showed it over at Sheep Pasture, it was one of the films that generated the most conversation after the film was over.
Why was that?
It's a film by Guillermo del Toro, who's noted for doing these sort of unusual films. He did one recently where a woman falls in love with an alien who's made out of water. This one here is a story of a girl back during the Spanish Civil War, and her father dies, and her mother marries a fascist, okay, who speaks Spanish. So he couldn't get into our country today, but he would have fit in otherwise. So the fascist guy is bad to the daughter. And so she begins to develop this fantasy life where there's all these odd creatures. Now, as the story goes along, you're wondering whether maybe these creatures are real. They're out in the woods in Spain and, God knows. Or whether it's all in her head. And she acts it very well. She was 11 years old at this time. And a cute little kid. And there's all these really strange animal characters and things. And you follow the film along, and then it has an ending, which I won't reveal because I don't want to spoil it. So it's a great film.
Pan's Labyrinth.
Pan's Labyrinth, yeah. It was up for an Academy Award, I think, for Best Picture. Didn't win, but won an Academy Award for something else. The interesting thing is, I've done a lot of research recently because you know how there's clickbait at the bottom of when you go online, the bottom thing at CNN will, who are the 25 most famous actors of all time? So one of the ones recently was who are the what's happened to the child stars of the 1970s and 80s? Okay, and she wasn't included. This girl, her name is Ivana Bankero. Well, Ivana Bankero has grown up to be one of the most beautiful women in the world. She's not statuesque, but she's 5'3", just the most expressive, gorgeous face. And she knows how tough the business is, like your son does. So as she grew up, she started the business at 11. She made it to high school, graduated through high school, and then, I'm going to try to continue my film career, but just in case, I'm going to go to law school. And she's a lawyer now. So, but she's got some potential. She's in her early late 20s, early 30s now. I think she's got some potential. She's been in a couple of TV series since then, and she did a great job in this film. It's just incredible, and
She's a smart cookie.
Yeah, very bright. Yeah, sort of like, who she reminds me of is, geez, we stalked her for years. What the hell's her name? Pint-sized, really skinny, was Luke Skywalker's mother.
Debbie, her daughter, Carrie.
No, wasn't Carrie. No.
Oh.
This not in real life. In film life.
Oh, okay.
Natalie Portman.
Portman.
She reminds me of Natalie Portman.
Oh.
And when I say we stalked her, our film kids always wanted to get her for an interview when she was at Harvard. And we had some kids at Harvard from OA, so we had them. Are you taking a course with Natalie Portman? No, but I see her work on campus every once. Well, if you could just go up to her and say, but we never got her for an interview. Natalie, if you're out there, But same thing. She started at 11, and one of these.
Natalie did?
Yeah, and a terrifying film, as terrifying as Pan's Labyrinth. It is Leon the Professional, and Leon the Professional is a professional hitman, and Natalie's living in an apartment next door when the villain of the piece comes in and kills her parents. And so reluctantly, the hitman adopts her. And so there's all this violence going on around her. And, Natalie's parents, who are very strict parents, are you sure you want to do this? This could mar you for life. Oh, no, Daddy, this is my big break. And it was. That started her career. She was fantastic in that. Same thing here. So Pan's Labyrinth, definitely worth a thing. Next thing I have is something unusual for Film Club. We don't usually do animation. I've wanted to show Spirited Away, which is a classic Japanese animation, or Princess Mononoke. And back in the days when we were showing things illegally, we did show Princess Mononoke, but neither of those films are available under the license now. So we can't show them. So we decided to show two films, 43 minutes. We're fine. Don't worry about it. Two films that are animated, both within the 2010s or so. One of them, the first one on the list here, is Wild Robot, which is from 2024, and it's about a robot that is stranded on an island and begins to look out for all the animals there. And it's supposedly a fantastic film. It's recommended by a lot of people. And when I mentioned that at the library, the librarians would just, that's such a great film, you're going to love it. I haven't seen it yet, so.
So does it appeal mostly to children?
No, it's one of those films that, well, yeah, I suppose, yes.
So it appeals to all ages?
All ages, yes. And that's what's sort of happened to animation, We did a film, I think it was last year, maybe the year before, on the making of Snow White. And how Disney had to struggle to get that financed and stuff. So we learned a lot about financing cartoons and how extensive it is and what the problems are and the issues. I just think it's a way that, prior to artificial intelligence, was a way for people to really let their imaginations run free. And this is supposed to be it has a lot of lessons about environmentalism and caring and resiliency and all this sort of stuff. So we've got that. And then the next one, Pan's Labyrinth, is one that I chose. And the other one that I chose is Sunset Boulevard from 1950.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
Starring
Gloria Swanson.
Yeah.
And
that's right, Joe Kennedy's mistress.
Yes. Yep.
Joe Kennedy being the father of President Jack Kennedy.
Yes. And the grandfather of the current, we can't pick on a guy that has a brainworm, even though the brainworm died in his brain, which meant that the food there wasn't that good. So Sunset Boulevard always gives me the creeps. It makes, by the time it's over, it makes you want to go take a shower and just wash it off. It's so creepy. And it's a Billy Wilder film. Billy Wilder's a genius. And he's done a lot of comedies, but Sunset Boulevard is about this woman who was a silent movie star, and she made a lot of money, and she has this beautiful mansion, and she has a butler who's her former husband, who was a German filmmaker back in the 1920s when she was big. In fact, she'll tell you she's still big. It was the movies that got small. That's one of the lines. And so it has, the German guy was a famous German director from the time. Oh. And there's Gloria Swanson, who was a famous silent movie star. She did manage to work into the talkies. And then it's got Buster Keaton and a couple of other guys whose career died as soon as talkies came in.
Yeah.
And there's also, it's just the creepiest movie. She had a pet chimpanzee, so she had a funeral for the pet chimpanzee. And then the famous line at the end of the film is she bumps off the narrator of the film. The narrator of the film is dead from the beginning of the film. You see him floating in the pond, but he's talking. That's the thing. So we finally find out who killed him. It's her. Mm-hmm. You could figure that out within 10 minutes anyway. So she comes down the grand stairways, and she sees all the reporters there with the flashing cameras, and she says, I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. And it's a classic film. It's one of the probably top 20 films of all time.
Really?
Yeah. And Billy Wilder is just a genius. He also did a film we've shown a couple of times, which is Some Like It Hot, which is the classic,
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, classic comedy. That's another film that has a great last line. You know what that one is?
What?
So Tony Curtis and Jack Lemmon have escaped from the mob in Chicago by dressing in drag and joining a girls' band. And they go to Florida, and they maintain their disguise because the bad guys are hunting them. And there's this incredibly rich guy, Joe E. Brown, who falls in love with Tony Curtis as a girl. And in the end, Tony Curtis is escaping, and he doesn't want to get too close to Joey Brown. And Joey says, we could get married. And he said, no. We could do this. No. So the last line, Tony Curtis's last line is, but I'm my man. And Joey Brown says, nobody's perfect. And off they go. So that's our favorite film. But Sunset Boulevard is sort of the mirror opposite of that. It's just,
So it's interesting that they tag each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So the next film on the list is, now we're all the way into March, is Back to the Future, and I don't think that needs to have a lot of explanation.
Yeah.
It's a fun movie, and it is a really good exploration of the time travel film that science fiction depends on so much.
But weren't there was there more than one?
Yes, there's at least
3.
2 more. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're showing the original.
The original. Okay.
Because that's the best. It's not like The Godfather. We were looking into that too. I showed The Godfather a few years ago at the film club. I hated it. What a terrible film. But it's also 3 hours long. I was like, oh my God, is this ever going to be over? Let's get them all killed. So the crew is pushing for Godfather 2, which is supposed to be even better than The Godfather.
Yeah.
And luckily, it's so long. I can't possibly. It's over 3 hours long.
So you can't do that.
No. But that was a sequel that was very good. And then they went and did The Godfather 3, which was not so good. So.
Right. And what about the next movie, Night of the Hunter?
Yes. Well, we were talking about this briefly early on.
Yeah.
It's Robert Mitchum, who can be very scary. even though he started his film career as an extra in Hopalong Cassidy films back in the 30s. And in this one, unlike the one set in the Cape Hatteras area, this is Night of the Hunter. He's a preacher, and he discovers that one of the people that had been coming to his thing had inherited $10,000, and he wants to get that in the worst possible way, and that's what the film's all about. So when we go dark this year, we're really going to go dark, and
that's dark.
Yeah, that's dark.
Okay. Yes. The Hurt Locker, that comes next.
Yeah. The great thing about America is there's always another war coming. And, we all grew up on World War II movies where John Wayne always saved the day, except in the one where he was on PT boats. He dies in that one. But this one is about the Iraq War. And we've shown a couple of films about the Iraq War. There was a semi-funny one called The Three Kings with George Clooney, and that was okay. This is a serious film, and it's about bomb disposal guys in Iraq. And there's a really tight-knit team of guys that are working over there, and this new guy comes in, and he's kind of a hot dog. And it's the story of how this all works out. I kind of identify with this because this is the war where I had students that were there. And, people from Easton, people from Randolph. That was right during my transition period. And so I kind of identify with this. So we're looking to see how that works out. Then the good news is 3 out of the last 4 films are all lighthearted and kind of comedies. So the first one is Moneyball. Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
Moneyball is a story of the Oakland Athletics. And one of the things that's changed about baseball is something called analytics, where people, not only look at the batting average, but look at, how many times did he swing, how many times did he miss, blah, 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 blah. So this is the story of the guy that invented that because the Oakland Athletics couldn't afford to really field a baseball team. They were so poor. So he said, if I figure this out, maybe I can get guys on the cheap. And that's his story. And that's a funny story about baseball. And some people say it's the best baseball movie ever. So we're going to show that just in time for spring training. The next one's Ocean's 11.
Oh, yeah.
And Ocean's 11, I was surprised. That goes all the way back to 2001. I thought it was much more recent. Of course, there's been a couple of sequels there, too. In fact, there's Ocean's 12 was the sequel, and then there's been a all-girl version of Ocean's 11. Yep, it was supposedly pretty good. But Ocean's 11 is the original. Actually, it's not the original. It's the remake of the Rat Pack version. And the Rat Pack had Frank Sinatra and Sammy Davis Jr. and Peter Lawford and all the guys having a good time. And this is the story of these people, George Clooney and Matt Damon and all those folks, getting together to rob a casino, and it's hilarious. It's a fun film. And then the next one is not a fun film. This is recommended by one of the members, and this is it's a very special film. We're waiting to get it on license because right now it has just sort of come out to libraries. But it hasn't gone through the licensing process. So it's the story of a man, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, who I remember from when I was a kid and going to church, that was a Christian philosopher.
He was a Lutheran.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, in Germany.
Right.
And he had to make the decision about kind of keeping quiet about fascism or stepping up. And they made this film about him. And actually made a couple of films about him. But
and when he was executed, he was very young.
Yes, and still good looking. So that shows in the film. That's probably why they made the film. But this is a film that really got panned by the critics. And not because it's a terrible film, but because it's very very traditional, very straightforward. There's no real surprises. You know, all these.
No, because it's historical.
Yeah, but you can still make things that are historical, that are like Lincoln, for instance. It's historical, and that was a big hit. Of course, it had Daniel Day-Lewis in it, but the people loved it. So it's like it gets a 60 rating from Rotten Tomatoes from the critics and a 90 from the people. Says, you know, one of our members really wants to see this one. So
Right.
I'm justifying it by the fact that people love it.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and it's a fantastic story. He's such an important person.
Yeah.
And is so brave to stand up to fascism.
To Hitler.
Yeah. Oh, was it Hitler? Oh, okay. I thought it was somebody more contemporary.
No, Bonhoeffer. You're being
I am, yes.
you're being very.
We need somebody like that today. But
I feel like we're like Laurel and Hardy.
yes,
I'm the straight one, and you're the.
yes. And
You're the
I do want to
Hardy.
let you know that any opinions expressed here are my own personal opinions and not the opinions of the library or the
Okay.
or ECAT. And by the way, you can address anything to my Facebook page. So if you have any comments, go ahead.
And
So I
so,
don't have a Facebook page.
okay, so the last one.
The last one is up. It's a
Yeah.
story about. This is just to show you that not all 79-year-old people are terrible human beings. The hero of this one's 79 years old, and it's our second animated film, and it's one of the very last things that Ed Asner did. He plays the hero in this film, and it's of course as in all these ones because animated films are always made with children in mind. So it's the story of this old man, and he sort of adopts this younger boy, and it's their story of going.
Yeah, and of course, Ed Asner's voice is always recognizable.
Exactly. Yep. So I'm looking forward to that to end the year, and
So, give us a pitch. Why should people come on the first and third Fridays at 6 o'clock, 6:30?
the people that come to this are very nice. They're interested in films. They're very friendly. They like to talk. There's great refreshments, free coffee and free cookies and cake. And we have great films. This is the best list of 20 films we've had.
And not only are the films wonderful, but also the technology that you've received through the library
Yes.
has really enriched the movies.
Yeah, the sound quality is good, and the picture is large. It's bigger
It's
than a
like
big
it's
screen.
almost as if you're getting a private showing.
It is. Yep.
So I want to thank you so much for coming. Ed Hands, historian for the Town of Easton and film critic extraordinaire. And we appreciate all that you've done for over 20 years to provide movies with the caliber that we've discussed today. So hope to see you at the movies. Thank you, Ed. And thank you for listening. Until next time, be well.